Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Savage Grind Podcast. We're dropping content for you every week. Make sure if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, click the button below, like and subscribe. Go to my TikTok right now. We're doing a special giveaway. If you like our stuff, hit me up in Messenger. I'll send you my free book and free planner. So let's roll right into it. I got my special guest here, Mr. Steven Klein, and my best buddy, old pal from way back, Mr. Lateef. So we're going to talk about some stuff in the industry that I see going on, and we're preparing. And so I just kind of like want to give some stuff out there because it is the beginning of the season for us. Stuff's starting to kick out. It's early March. And just to see what guys are doing and where they can probably give some help to them, right? Because the industry is changing, and we've seen it pretty much late last year where the insurance companies are just denying a bunch of crap, and we're a dual entity company, so we're the public adjuster and contractor. So I wanted to bring some experts that are in the field. You're boots on the ground doing appraisals all the time. You're working with a bunch of big time contractors, but specifically for us boys in Illinois, right? Because we have a unique scenario here, and I just want to prep my homies for say it's what they could be doing different for their business model right now. So what do you see going on in the industry right now, Steve, as far as insurance companies buying, not buying, and what's been a problem?
I see resistance.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that there's this persona on how claims are being settled nationally through different social media markets, obviously. And that standard is set just way too high compared to what average should be. Unfortunately, like Illinois, like how you just mentioned Illinois, how I'm here, I call this the wild, wild west of settling claims because it's 100% opinion based. Wow. You know, if you take a ride down to Florida, Texas, you have statutes, laws, you have a Department of Insurance that's engaged in insurance code, and they're able to help build like some version of like a memorandum to keep everybody corralled together.
And is it just like Illinois hasn't really had that much backing on legislation or laws put in place for contractors to help us in any form? Because it seems like there's endless case study in law for consumers, right? But if you're a contractor in business, you can go build someone's roof, siding, gutters, window job, and basically a homeowner can just be like, F you, I don't want to pay you. And we have very little kind of anything to fight back in a sense, right? You got to have an ironclad contract, right? Number one, super important. But some guys that, they don't have that available. They don't have like big numbers yet, so they don't have like a lawyer that kind of like revising their stuff. Because literally I could tell you we revised our PA contract. This is going to be the 5th time. We're going into another contingency construction agreement for the 3rd time. We're revising that again. So it's like a yearly thing now. We're kind of just doing it and sending it off and trying to find the best fit, just because this pushback we're seeing on both ends, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So like what do you think is the best route for?
Well, contractually, we are in a state that we don't have bad faith. Essentially, in Illinois, to break it down to brass tacks, anyone can cancel a contract, no matter what contract it is.
Right.
And ultimately, you can't force somebody to work with you if they didn't want to work with you. But what the questions are, why do they not want to work with you, is probably because of the persona that the insurance company props them off to be. Hey, this guy, he follows storms. He's not the right guy. There's a chuck in the truck down the road. Right. He can hack it in there and get it done, so on. I also see that when it comes to the contracts on all stages, you got to remember, if you drive 80 miles east, 100 miles north, if you're a PA and a contractor, it's a felony.
Yeah.
So we're already set up for failure off the bat. I think there's only two other states that you're allowed to do that. See, in Florida, if you're a PA and you're a contractor and you rent in the same building, that's a felony.
Wow.
They can't even be in the same building.
That's crazy.
So it's wild. So we're never being dealt the right cards in Illinois in the first place.
Yeah, and I have some stuff that I feel like what contractors can do to pivot, and we'll hit on that later. I'm working with Lateef and just kind of rolling out more value for the client. But On that note, I wanted to talk about like so like we also have an office in Indiana, right? And I heard she's like so we're talking to another lawyer in Indiana to help assist us with our contract there. And the way she phrased it was like, you're basically like a John and a prostitute, right? Like you're going to law and say like, hey, the John didn't pay me for my bill, right? And then she put it to you like, she's like, because in every other state it's deemed illegal to like say, hey, I'm a public adjuster representing a homeowner and build back for construction. Right. So when she worded it like that, I was like, damn, that's kind of harsh, but like I get the analogy. Like, so and like it's just such a unique situation that I think a lot of insurance restoration contractors kind of abused it for Illinois. It's sad to say, right? And I think
the PA days are a struggle.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely difficult to be a contractor and a PA at the same time.
Right.
Now, if you go look at other firms that are out there, they're PA only, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what they're good at. Right. It's hard to be good in two different professions and then be able to master between the two. Right. It's really hard. You're really not you came into this as a contractor, right? Yeah. Because when I got into this probably, I don't know, almost 20 years ago, 17, 18 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
We couldn't spell appraisal. We didn't know what that meant. We supplements, we faxed everything. We didn't have to worry about Google reviews. We didn't have to worry about the BBB. If you wanted to see where you're at on the BBB, you had to call them and say, is this guy a BBB member?
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, the times have changed all the way across the board. But being the PA and the contractor, it's just a conflict as bad as it can be. Now, Illinois did it themselves. They're the ones that passed the statute that said you can't negotiate unless you're a PA, and allowed it. When they originally passed it, we had zero cap. All right, we could charge 90% if we wanted to. Is it ethical? No. Is it the right thing to do? No. But there was no cap. Recently, and matter of fact, when I called in, when I did my PA,
and when you mean 90%, that was on the cancellation.
No, that's your fee as a PA.
The fee for 90%.
So I remember asking, I think his name was Randall Strode. He was overseeing the PA department, Illinois Department of Insurance. So I got him on the phone and I said, we have no cap, but I have to submit something to you that says what my cap's going to be. And I asked him, I said, where does that cap be? He's like, it's unlimited. I said, well, hold on, I didn't ask the right question. What's the maximum amount that if it landed on your desk, you would be mad? He said 30%. I still fell out of my chair. I think that's still way too much. Right. Most places is a reinspect. If we're jumping in mid-claim, we're 20%. If it's a new claim, it's 10%. And you have a PA out there that focuses just on PA stuff and not contracting, you're getting the right guy. Right. Unfortunately, now with settling these claims, again, back when I did this 20 years ago, somewhere right around there, one of the things that was interesting to me was we didn't know what a PA was. We specialized being contractors. That's what we're good at. I mean, that's what we eat, live, breathe. I mean, we don't know anything better than that, than being a contractor. Now, you have to become a PA. And what's worse than the PA is the knowledge that you're being taught.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're going to go actually learn to be a PA, the stack of books is about yay tall. Right. What they're doing now is they're simmering it all the way down, all right, to where they're only teaching you exactly what you need to pass the test. They're not explaining what a proof of loss is, all right? They're not talking about co-insurance. You don't understand that. Some of these tests that were on there is like, here's one of the questions. You got 3 levels, right? Basement, first level, second level, attic. Which levels of all these 4 levels doesn't need a smoke detector in it? Well, we know this. It's obviously the attic, right? Attic doesn't get the smoke detector. That's the question. That's the answer. Right. That makes you a PA. That's how simple the questions are. Right. So now you have a guy with a loaded gun out there using his PA gun and has not the slightest clue on how to be able to use it. Right. And I remember when I came out of the class, and I think it was in 2014, I came out, I was like, yeah, man, I'm ready. This is it. I'm going to swing my big old PA. And I went out there, first 3, signed them up on a PA contract. I think one was like MetLife, second one was like State Farm, and the other one was Allstate, right? All three sent engineers out immediately. I said, well, this ain't fun. I only see those guys once or twice a year.
Right.
And now I got three of them up front. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I send in the PA contract and they're like, okay, cool, but where's your proof of loss? You know, stuff like that, you know, being able to define it. The other thing that I notice is with the PA end of it, I think it hurts the contractors.
Right.
I think it's best said, there's a guy in the industry that talks about appraisals, smart, knowledgeable man. And he says in there, in one of his books, is I'm a contractor. My prices are non-negotiable.
Yeah,
you have way more pull as a contractor than you do as a PA, because now we're arguing policy and coverage. And when you're training sales guys, it's taken me almost 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and I'm still learning on understanding policy, coverage, that type of stuff. And
it's something that changes every day, man.
well,
Like,
and the State Farm just rolled out a whole new policy. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. I'm dying to see it. I got to dig into it a little bit more, but they got a new
Under
one that's out
appraisal
there
clause
about
now.
appraisal clause and
Yeah.
stuff. And I didn't know that until we had the AUA meeting. Yeah, and I was pretty shocked by it. I'm not surprised. State Farm is like the Godfather. What they do, everyone follows right behind it.
Right.
And then I've noticed over the last few years, everyone's been kind of disconnecting from State Farm.
Yeah.
Look at the new farmers policies, these Next Gen 1, Next Gen 2, you know, so on. They renewed those people, all right, auto-renewed them over. No one read it, right? Took away cosmetics, they took away, you know, color matching, all different types of exclusions. It was more, instead of giveth, it was taketh, all the way down. It's one of the worst policies ever.
Yeah, it's borderline criminal, right? Where they're just not serving their clients and customers and just revising policy language so they're saving a buck, and then when it comes down to where they actually need the policy, like, holy crap, your percentage deductible. 99% of homeowners don't even know what that means.
And two, like, you notice, like, nobody's educating the consumer about, like, we're educating them about their claim. We're not educating them before. Like, me sending out something like, hey, here's your annual policy review. Here are things to look for. Here are things to change. Because sometimes they get that little, like, hey, save $250 on your insurance. Just sign this addendum. They don't know what they're signing. But having that little policy audit and helping them with that and educating them with that is something that's missing. We always focus on, oh, I want your job, instead of just educating somebody.
So those are some answers that we can do as contractors to kind of pivot in our business and our model, right? Is being more value oriented in the beginning, right? Teaching our clients and educating them about how the process may work, right? And even really questioning, and like for us, what you're probably more than likely going to do is pivot to just being a contractor and pulling the PA card if necessary. So like we're going to start creating a new model ourselves. We're retraining all our sales staff and force, and you're helping us with that. And to just sign them up and educate and be more value with the reports and an inspection and a video and how we talked
the
about
documentation, everything.
And when I contracted with the PA, might I note, I'll add to that, when it came time to renew my PA license, I let it lapse. I didn't want to do it anymore. But when we were able to, with the PA work, I would go out there and say, all right, here, I'm the contractor. We're doing the adjuster meeting. And if it's going good, great. You know, but if it started to go south, that's when I would let the adjuster know, look, I'll go let the policyholder know, fire me as the contractor, rehire me as the PA because I can do so. And then it changes. And guess what? I'm not arguing with an engineer. An engineer is not the slightest clue. What they follow case study, but they don't talk about it. They're simple-minded. This is not what they do. A lot of the engineers I see, they're like, all I hear about is these big envelope jobs that they have out there, roofing engineering for, you know, McCormick Place, stuff like that, bridges. Why are they out there on a $30,000?
Yeah, and it's crazy.
They should have hired that guy
Yeah.
on the first adjuster meeting. If he's going to take away coverage, they should have hired him on the first meeting.
There's two problems that I see when they send out an engineer. Number one, being like they're not specifically licensed or trained in identifying damage, right? And then two, I've noticed that I'll see the same guy adjusting claims on another, and like, dude, you're an adjuster. on a loss. Now you're an engineer. Like, how does that? Like, it's like, dude.
But see, we do the same thing. So like when you're a contractor and a PA, like one of the things I've noticed about certain companies, they'll set it up, even though in Illinois they could be both. They'll have their contracting personnel and they'll have their PA personnel. So it's easier for me to like keep my one hat on. I'm your contractor. Here's the part that I'm doing. Danny, who happens to be a partner with me in a different way, has this other business, a PA, and he's going to run that side. By keeping this person, you educate him as a contractor, because what we're trying to do is figure out the right combination for a lock. So like PA, contractor, this, that. And we hear like somebody say lump sum, or we hear somebody say exectimate. Mm-hmm. So we're going after, like, we're trying to look for this magic bullet, which back when the magic bullet was just relationships. I knew you, right? Now that's changed. And now people discount the education that's necessary. So you got to pick a lane, become an expert contractor, explain why this is required from a contractor's perspective. I don't care how you get paid. I don't care about your policy. I'm telling you what's required. I need 2 rows of ice and water. I need 2 rows of ice and water because of code, because of this, because of that. I don't care about your policy. That's your business. Now, my partner here, who we happen to work with, he does that. So if you want him to argue the policy, because I can convince you off construction law, let him do it.
Sorry to cut you off, but me as a contractor, I'm excited to see this new change in the industry because I come from construction. Yeah. I have 2 decades of construction experience. So for me to see this kind of change, I'm happy. I came into the industry and storm restoration thinking I needed to go this route because I'm kind of following the cattle. Everybody's getting the PA contractor model. I was like, well, this is what I need to do to be successful in this space right now. So I kind of followed it. And now that stuff is kind of, we're getting that resistance. So it's like, all right, cool. Let's go what I'm good at. Right. Let's talk about damage. Right. Let's talk about construction.
Engineer too. You know, engineer, you already know. I mean, I guess it's kind of a little rude of me to single them out on this aspect of it. But the reality is, if you're an engineer, you went to college, right? You worked hard to get there. I don't take that away. But more than likely, you probably weren't pounding nails. Yeah. No. This situation changes every single time. And you understand that as being able to be in construction. And the same thing with me when I'm what they consider 4th generation roofer. My mom's side was all roofers. I love that. So here I am, right?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I think my plans were to be a millionaire. Now here I am. I'm a razor. But no, it's tough. Now, being a contractor, especially today, I remember when I had the business in 2005, my grandfather would ask me, he'd be like, how's your production? Oh, it's amazing. And I could just drop them and go and be incident free, nothing. But the workforce has changed a lot too. Yeah. So you're working against that, right? And now all the different hands it has to follow through makes it so difficult to already be a contractor. And then on top of that, you got to teach and train how to be a PA. First off, to get them to become a PA, you're dropping $1,500 to $2,000 plus the bond, plus the contracts, all this stuff. Yep. Once you get them to become a PA, and they're already selling for you, you might as well just give them the keys to your shop and send them out the door. I mean, if you're a PA as a sales guy, why are you working for somebody? Yeah. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. I always believe pay them enough, teach them enough they can go on their own, but pay them enough that they stay, right? That was always my aspect on it for sure. But look at what they have to get involved in now. Yeah. You come in to sell roofs and now all of a sudden you're in policy and coverage. That's pretty brutal. Yeah. For especially sales, we're trying to teach them sales. We're also trying to teach them all the components. And look, when I learned roofing, when I learned construction, I was on my hands and knees. I was messing things up. Right. The uncle was, hey, boy, get over there and do it right, right?
But you can actually yell at someone.
Right, we could get hands-on on this stuff.
Don't yell at me.
So the green guys, especially the kind of today's generation, construction's just not a thing anymore. Yeah. I remember when we were leaving high school, the joke's on them now, but I was leaving high school and I went right into framing and then went into water loss with ServPro and stuff. And it was like, oh, you're a loser. Yeah. You're going to framer, you're garbage. But I'm like, is this a loser or not? Because I'm working for myself. I'm driving nice trucks. Yep. There's a roof over the head for the kids and all that stuff. Now they look at it. Now look at the big trade gap that we have. We have a trade gap not because there's a lack of able. It's the lack of people that want. Yeah. Exactly. Nobody wants to work. So again, not to get off topic, but to run, I'll say it again, to run your construction company is extremely stressful. The overhead's 5 times more than what it was 20 years ago. When we first got into it, I mean, we wrote purchase orders, work orders right on a bar napkin and slid it over.
Slide in here.
Hey, Danny, get this in, and it got done. You had the right people. My most successful years, I'll tell you what, if I could go back and rehire, first of all, I don't contract anymore, so that being said, but if I was ever to have a construction company, I'd go back and rehire every person that I had a falling out with, probably pre-2012 and back. Because it sucks, because my morals then were, they weren't good, right? But I look at the workforce now, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they don't know anything. They're looking for layups.
They're like rock stars.
Like I'm looking for these people, I'm like, Tony, where are you?
Look, there's more investigations.
let's talk about how we could pivot and help some contractors do some different models and different ideas to get it.
I will tell you one thing with the models, whatever model you pick, you want to get to that model. One thing I mean by that is this. So let's say I'll sell you a roof for $10,000 for your house retail, right? But in insurance, I'm billing $20,000. Yeah. Right. Now nowadays they're shopping you. They're going to find out that, hey, you had this $10,000 and you're billing us $20,000. Well, you have to convert. You got to pick your model, and that's your model, right? You got to pick your pricing, do your pricing.
And that's what you see with the sales guys on the storm side, right? Mm-hmm. They're not giving a quote because they don't want to kind of shoot themselves in the foot and give them a quote, and then they get paid more, and then they have to explain that surplus of money in the claim.
Exactly.
And that's what you see. So, as a restoration contractor, you're just like, dude, this is my bill. This is what it costs to build you with kind quality products or better, right? And this is what it's going to cost to do the job.
Well, look, when we built houses back here before, you found some burr shit on a roof, and you just kind of threw a toss up, and next thing you know, it got bought. That used to happen. So now people are programmed to say, let's wait and see what he gives before we say anything. Maybe he'll give me more than I asked for, right? The right way really is walk up. Here's my bill, guys. This is what it's going to cost to do it, right? Because I'm the expert, not you. Yes. You've never built a roof. You've never done what? I could tell you this is $22,500, and here's a list that you need, right? That's the right way to do it. And then, hey, by the way, I can't see underneath that. So if I pull that off and there's something, I'm going to bill you for that too, right? But instead, we're kind of picking and choosing. And that picking and choosing is what's going to land you in legal trouble and also not get your jobs moving quick. You have to go in and say, hey, this is my process. Look, guys, here's my estimate. This is what it is. And then, okay, you want to argue? Hey, my PA side will argue with you. I don't know about your policy. I'm just telling you what it costs. That's it. I don't know nothing. I'm telling you that's what they need, right?
I'm just a
Exactly.
contractor.
I'm just a contractor. That's my price. I'm not going to discuss my overhead with you. I'm not turning in my receipts. I'm not doing none of that nonsense. My deal is with the homeowner, right? The homeowner's deal is with the PA. And you guys can work that out. I want to get paid and I want to do the job, and this is how it works. And too many people are going to this picking and choosing. When you do that, and somebody cites that you did this for $20,000 here and did this for $24,000 there, you're going to get in trouble. And it's better to get into a process and start learning it and doing it right. Too many guys are looking for that magic bullet. Lump sum. Everyone's all crazy over lump sum nowadays. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad or good. That's your decision. But I'm going to tell you this. If you're going to do lump sum, do it on every single job. If you're going to do Xactimate, do it on every single job. You need to pick a lane and don't sit there trying to learn the new magic bullet. Take one and perfect it. Did you do this well before you even jump to the next thing? Everyone's like, new CRM, new app, new this. Dude, simplify it. We did it on manila envelopes back in the day, and I guarantee you could still do it. I'm not suggesting do it, but I am saying it can be done still. And sometimes there's just a thing saying, keep it simple, stupid. We've heard that. We have to start working a little bit better towards making it simpler, not overcomplicating it. You're a salesperson. What do I need you to do? Go create value in my business, create rapport for yourself and my business, validate my business, show their problem, expose their problem, offer a solution, create an offer, and get acceptance. That's it. After that, get the hell out of there. I don't need you to do anything more. I don't need you to be a PA and start telling me policy because you passed a test about a smoke detector in the attic. I mean, that's not helping.
Mind-blowing.
Leave that to somebody else.
Yeah, I love that, and you can really, and you've seen it with the biggest companies in the country, right? They have a streamlined process that's not mumbo jumbo, complicating the PA side in it, and they're just doing strictly sales. With salesmen go out, bang on the doors, knuckle draggers, talk about value with the company, and giving them a proposal price, signing them up, and getting them built. Right. And I like that, because now we're going back to the root cause, right? You got damage and I'm the person to help you. All this policy talk and language talk, is like got overdrawn and overused and oversaturated, especially in Illinois and specifically Chicago. And it's like I'm looking forward to the change. Actually, I think it's gonna be really weed out the ones that don't belong in the industry, that are calling themselves roofers, but they've never ever swung a hammer or shot a nail gun or even like been on a job site to detect. Right? It's been basically like I came from baking. Well, there's nothing wrong with that either, right? But you can run a model, know how to run a business model. That's fantastic. But there's really no real value to give to a homeowner or even duplicate yourself as far as training salespeople what to look for and how to build a roof back correct for as far as construction.
As these companies get bigger, everyone's out there representing you. Like in your company, everyone's out there representing you.
And it gets diluted.
And when you put your name on a bad job where it's a toss up, like the old days of bird shit, it went through. I'm not going to say we didn't do it, but like point being, today it's gotten different. You can't do that. You have to go validate it. You got to build your argument. Be ready, as if you're going to court. Is what I tell everybody. Like build it as if, the communication as if, the photos as if, the documentation as if. Not that I'm planning to go to court, but when I build it as if, guess what? I don't go to court. I get paid. Yeah. But when I build it like a hack, I probably go to court, or I probably lose a job, and I probably mess up a deal for a homeowner that potentially had some income coming in, or maybe he shouldn't have been making a claim, but I'm messing it up for him by not being educated. Too many guys are busy about like, oh, I signed a deal and I made $5,000. Okay, that's cool. But now learn how that happened. Learn what's involved. Learn what's going on. Spend some time working on yourself. TikTok 72 hours watching stuff that are funny videos. That's great. But how many hours do you spend educating yourself? How many times do you spend making yourself better, right? Improve your trade. Learn it. Don't go chasing the next best thing. Don't go chasing the next best offer. Stick with the company. Learn it to a point where you understand it. And then if you want to do something on your own, or if you want to do something, that's a different story. But man, these guys hopping around, not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah. Right. And if you wanted to get on like a service program, let's say like State Farm, Lackady, Crawford Connection, stuff like that, when you walk in there, you're going to shake hands with them on agreed pricing. Yeah. All right. So why can't we find a way to have agreed pricing? I've seen roofs go up to, for your 3-tab architectural, up to $1,000 a square. And then I've seen it as down as probably competitive, $450, $550, right around there. So having that aspect of knowing that and being able to follow the market, you're going to get along with the insurance company when they see that you're just not gouging it out. This RFG thing, you're not going to get it every time. You can push it. Hope you get it, but it's gonna throw obstacles. As soon as they see stuff like that, they're just like, look, that's it. And when there's an adjusting firm, I can't mention their name, but some people know. But anyhow, I went down to Houston and I worked for them, and I did my, what they call estimatics and policy certs, okay? And the guy comes out, he oversees all the adjusters, and he's like, yeah, man, he comes out, who wants to buy claims, you know? And I'm like, and this is the biggest insurance company that's saying this, you know, I'm not gonna say who, but the biggest insurance company. And this guy oversees everybody, all 50 states or whatever states they're in that they represent. And he's like, who wants to buy claims? This is customer service time and so on. And then boom, the next step was, who was a contractor in here before coming here? Now we're all coming there to get certified with this company, right? To become their new adjusters, right? Everybody raised their hands, right? So here I am. It's no different than when I'm out there doing an appraisal. It always, the OA across from me is always saying, oh, I worked a summer doing roofing, or I used to own my own remodeling company. Well, all due respect, I used to own one too, right? It's not in business anymore, right? All right, so I don't think I'm gonna run around and brag about that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's failures and successes, but I'm looking at a guy that 15 years ago, he worked one summer and he thinks he knows everything about construction. You know, and they sit at home on TLC with their wife watching these remodels. They don't know. They just don't know these adjusters. So differentiating, it's also the way we train our sales guys too. Now, I think about how those guys I was telling you pre-2012, back then we didn't have Eagle View. We had to diagram it. Let them get out there and diagram that again, all right? Climbing all the way down to the gutter edge.
Use a tape measure?
Use a tape measure.
What's that?
You know, while they're trying to get the tape measure through the bushes, cussing and swearing, you know, like, oh, look at that. I got all...
It won't stay straight.
Yeah, there's another hose bib.
Yep.
You know, it's just teaching them the components. I had a cider that came in one time. When I had
really showing your age right now, bro.
I had a subcontractor come in one day, and he was telling me about one of the other contractors in the area that he was working with, and I was like, how's it going over there? He's like, I hope they do their purchase orders at night. When they go out there, I want them to do their purchase orders and material orders at night on these houses. I said, I'm thinking to myself, what? What does that mean? I said, why? Maybe they can count how many light mounts are out there. All right? So these guys, I know who he's talking about. They never did construction before. Not a bad team, right? They know they're good. They knew their stuff, but they're learning and building a company and then taking it out on the subcontractor. So who then has that you're guilty by association. Yeah. I mean, the subcontracting now is even crazy for you guys. I can't even imagine how tough it is. I don't envy anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. I watch what you guys go through. When they mingled the PA, the construction together, I was like, wow, man. And I didn't last much longer after 2016, I literally said, I'm not doing this
There's
anymore.
a lot to learn. And like us as business owners and that have done contracting in the past or whatever, we did everything, right? Like we did the orders. Like I tell everybody, you're CEO and the janitor, right? That mentality for our employees to expect that is actually a false like precedence. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be saying, okay, here's your 10 roles. And this is what you're going to do, and get them to get really good at that before you bring them up. And a lot of us are making the mistake of like, you're going to do this, you're going to be a PA, you're going to do this. I invest 3 months to getting you to go and you quit on me. Like, I just want you to learn to sell. I just want you to learn to do a material order. I just want you to learn to do, do the PA side of it, like get this agreement, whatever it is, start with that. Don't try to overly train right away. Get someone to be really good at something and you're going to realize that you get more out of them. And I think that's the thing the industry needs to realize. You need to be an expert in your lane. You know, the days of me knowing everything are gone, right? Yeah. I don't need to be expert in everything. I need to know enough about it to kind of know what's happening. But I need to pick this part is me. Like I own this. I answer the phones. That's my job, right? I write the estimates. I do the material takeoffs. Now, I'm not saying someone can't do more, but that multi-hat wearing thing is small business mentality. That's when Dad went out and he did everything. Right. He drew the plans, he made the sale, he got the permit, and he actually did the construction.
Yep.
That's not happening anymore, right? So pick your lane and start building it, because if not, it's starting to get a little messy. And if you want to scale your business, that's something that's going to hold you back, right? But it also creates where you know that part A, part B, part C was done right, because everyone's an expert in their lane. Yeah. Otherwise, you expect them to know everything, and trust me, they don't. You see it all the time.
So let's talk really quick about your business and what you're doing and how you can help contractors right now, and what you could do.
Our side, I mean, Boss Up Solutions, like our idea was like when I had my business, I noticed that I could afford $3,000 to hire this girl or something in my office, right? Or guy, whatever you guys want to do, or whatever, right, nowadays. But like, here's the deal. When I hire that person, they have a skill. Like their skill might be communication. So they're good on the phones, you're good at graphics, so they're in Canva or whatever it might be, drawing my Facebook social media posts. That's great. But they suck at paperwork, they suck at bookkeeping, they suck at estimates. So same thing, like I said, pick a lane. Your back office, which is actually your front office, like it's what's in front of you. I've realized that what we should do is instead, if I can reach into a pool of 30 people and their expertise, and then pay that same $3,000 to a service like ours or whatever it might be, you can reach into that pool of talent and use what you need as you need it. So I need 2 hours of phone calls today. I need 10 estimates done today. I need 2 collections done today. So instead of having to train one person to do all of it, this is one place where you do train somebody. Like we've probably done all that. Yeah. We're a key person. Right. Key people for a business are the death of a business, because if you go away, the business dies. Right. Key people dependency needs to go away. So we help alleviate that dependency. We also get rid of the bottleneck. So a storm hits tonight. All of a sudden, Danny calls me. He's like, bro, my phone's ringing off the hook. I can't even answer. Now, when you have an access to 30 people, you can actually scale up without training. So what happens if you hire somebody? I hire you. First, I got to train you. I got to get you a laptop. Yep. Oh, you need a new stool and you need a desk. I got to find a place in my office. You need a shirt. Oh, I got to get you a phone number. Let me set you up an email account. Let me set up a user in my CRM. Let me get you a company cam account, et cetera, right? It gets to be ridiculous. Now here you can just toggle on or off. But bigger than that, Danny, I'm going to tell you, this is not just about using our business to make a commercial pitch, but it's about creating rules for people and standard process, because a lot of the things that we did when we saved the day, when we put on our fireman's hat, they can be avoided with being a fire inspector. In other words, the day before the build, if I send you that video that we were talking about that says, hey, here's the things to look out for, here's your checklist. A lot of the problems that come up that Danny has to step in, or you had to step in, or I stepped in to alleviate and calm down that angry person, we can alleviate them. We have to start looking at every problem. And if it's a repeat problem, looking at what was the root cause, going back and say, how can I avoid it? So, hey, you know what? The morning before, and there's these awesome systems out there, I can send you a text that says, this is what's going to happen. Before you get a chance to go give me a Google review that's poor the day of the build, I'm going to send you a survey saying, is everything going all right? Right? Cool. Getting those things in place that get rid of those mistakes. People always are doing this all the time. They're pointing fingers at somebody. And I told them, the boss, something like where I came up with it was like, do this. What part's in my control? I can't control Danny. I can only control me.
Absolutely.
Like I got to figure out what I'm doing. And everyone in your business needs to say, like, every problem after you solve it, you say, why did it happen? What caused it?
I can't say enough. You've helped us out through a real agonizing time with our AR, and you got it done. And so for all you guys out there that need help on your back office AR, Lateef is the man. Go find him. Where can they find you, bro?
BossUpSolutions.com. Hit me up.
I love it.
Very simple. BossUpSolutions.com.
And I'll sell the Boss Up, and I'll tell you why. Any good business model is to be lean and mean. Look really huge on the outside, but just be a couple smart, articulate people inside. You know, you're just talking about the training the person, right? The laptop. This person flakes out in 2 weeks. He has 30 backups. Yeah. He doesn't have to retrain somebody, you know? So, I mean, come on. What's the turnaround in the office for us? It changes.
It was 9 for our office. We went through 9 different office admin.
What do you think it's going to be this year? I see his business growing because look at inflation flying up.
Crazy.
These people are going to stay home, take care of their kids now, let the husband work. 2 incomes are not paying off the way it should because it doesn't oversee the other spillage of what you need to be at. But when it comes to scaling the business, it's a no-brainer. If you can outsource it, absolutely.
Cool.
Lateef tackled me back in 2015. He's like, you need Boss Up Solutions. And I'm like, get out of here. I need a whole
Everybody does that.
Not that I had a problem with it, but here, I got a lady that's an assistant that was working for me for the last 5-6 months. And I got a lot of training time in there. Yeah. Things went south, right? No call, no shows, disappears, whatever. It's not a big deal. But the big deal is for me is that I spent 6 months training this person.
Yep, that investment goes away.
And my time is
out the window.
As an appraiser. I'm a single ICA guy. That's what I am. I don't have like the time to be able to master policy, master estimates, master building relationships with these opposing appraisers and adjusters and stuff out there, right? And then in between there, snake in. Being able to teach another lady or guy, whoever, it doesn't really matter. So now in a situation like this, he'll be on the plane and he'll email me later. Haha, Monica quit. Is it time? Is it time? And I'm not gonna lie.
So that solidifies your business and that works. And what's your business? What's your expertise and how people can find you?
Yeah, BalboaAppraisal.com. I obviously the owner of Balboa Appraisals. And we do consulting, and my biggest bread and butter is going to be doing the appraisals. I could tell you the pros and the cons with being an appraiser. I like the fact that when I'm in appraisal, I'm usually working with somebody that's a heck of a lot more professional than what the adjuster you were seeing out there. These are senior adjusters and general adjusters that have been in the game for a long time. I'm not working with a ladder guy.
It's not that green bee ladder guy they just hired.
Right.
College kid.
We come out there and we roll out with respect. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of firms that are just horrible. That's just what they were hired for. That's their job. I don't react because reaction is slavery. Like, whatever. That's the way they want to run their business. So be it. But it's great to be able to get out there and talk to professionals. But in that same sense, I get to sit back and watch what's going on with you guys. And I'm like, man, I don't envy you anymore. It's horrible what you guys are going through.
So let's break it down really, really quick. I'm a contractor. I got denied on a roof. I'm gonna call up Balboa. What would be the process of how that works and help me be successful as a contractor?
So we'll roll that back. You got one approved, but not fully approved. Right. Because they have to extend at least $1, right? Right. Even if it's under the deductible, it doesn't matter. then it's right for appraisal. Now the question is, does it have substance? You know, when you get out there, these are some of the arguments that you're going to have. Here's the perfect scenario. All right, Joliet's a good example of that too in Plainfield. You guys got hit so many times with hail. It doesn't stop. You'll never miss a hailstorm every year, 2, 3 every year. When we get up on that roof, we got to decipher what's the difference between 5 years ago hail damage and now. Right. And people have that question, why did the neighbor get it? Well, I can tell you why the neighbor got it. They never got replaced the first time, or heck, maybe it's even a newer roof. I find newer roofs get more damage because they're more pliable and goofy and knocks it out. But that could be arguable. Right. But long story short, different elements, different times the claims were filed. So making sure that you get out there, one, it's a legitimate claim. All right, it's with a legitimate date. We can prove that. We got consequential damage all over the place. We've got metals are beat, we got spatter, stuff like that. We're able to get through there. And then decipher what the difference is. I look at appraisal as repair versus replacement. There's no winning and losing in appraisal. I hate when people say, I won that appraisal. I lost that appraisal. No one wins and loses. It is what it is. Right. So it's either had substance, Listen, if they're going to pay for the back slope of a house that's 30 squares, which just say simple numbers, and they're going to pay for 2 sides of siding, and they valued it low, they didn't put the accessories in there, it's 3 line items, so on. It's right for appraisal. Cool. No doubt. I would bring that in because they already admitted to there being damage, right? Mm-hmm. And that's important. But learning to let go of the right ones, because in appraisal, it's sad that it's not about what you know. Yeah. It's who you know in Illinois.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Right? It's horrible. If I pick the wrong client, and I've had this happen, I pick a client, they're, what's this word for it? Drastic on how they settle their claims, the way they communicate with the insurance company. And I've read some of these emails. I'm like, I wouldn't pay for your doghouse if that's the way you talk to me.
Abrasive.
I couldn't believe it. And I looked at it and I was like, and if I was the PA on it, it would never have made it to appraisal. Just teaching the adjuster some respect is huge. But being associated by some of these bigger ones that are just so guerrilla aggressive, they'll take it out on me, on my other clients too. Oh, here comes Klein.
Yeah.
He represents this guy.
Yeah.
So guess what? Court appointed on everything. It becomes a nightmare. Yeah. So, and
knowing which ones to keep and super important.
It's got to have substance. And for me, I could go out and probably sign up 10 more clients today. One, I'd be overwhelmed. Yeah. And I'd probably fail at it, being so overwhelmed. It's almost impossible. But 2, just like when I take on any new client, I'm like, just give me 2 or 3. Let me see where we're at. Let me run through them. And sometimes, there's a marriage moment, where you got to have a union with them and just sit down. And I say, come to Jesus. And just say, hey.
These are all shit.
My job is to make you a lot of money.
Yeah.
If I'm not making you a lot of money, I'm not making money, right? That's my job. And I don't want to set you up for failure. And I also don't want you to have this reputation that you're this shark in the business.
Yeah, just sign
and that's today's new industry is changing that we're talking about now. You got to decipher yourself. Mm-hmm. I want to say it outright, from the scumbags, because that's what they are. Mm-hmm. And they're ruining the industry, and they're scumbags. And then you got to come over here and decipher yourself. You know what? I'm a good guy. I always told all my adjusters when I had the restoration company that my sales guys, the easy part's selling the homeowner. The hard part's selling the adjuster.
Yeah.
That's
the real
reality.
sale.
And I would tell those adjusters out there, if one of my sales guys ever gets out of line, you call me. Papa will take care of it. And I'll make the guy drive to his house and bring him flowers and chocolates dressed as a chicken if that's what it has to be, or he's fired. That man has to go home to a wife, a kids. We don't want him going home all upset. Take it out probably on 3 other claims. It's like the adjuster meetings. I never wanted late afternoon, evening adjuster meetings. You want to know why?
They're already pissed. Yeah.
In traffic all day. No, man. I'm an 8, 9, 10 guy.
Early ones are the best, dude. They're buying all day in the morning.
Coffee's in, it's full effect. Everyone's ready to rock. But you got to decipher yourself from the scumbags. Yeah. And I'm going to say it. They're scumbags. And I'm watching a majority group of contractors, especially in the Illinois area, they're just full of shit.
Yeah.
And I also see that there's these massive groups on Facebook, and I trust me, it got to me sometimes. I get overhead and profit on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm pulling my hair out, going bald. I'm like, how? And I'm leaving it.
Tell me how. I need to know.
And
it's just
it's a big
sifting
couple
through
years,
it. Yeah.
and guess what? They're full of shit. You cannot make anyone do anything. You cannot make $1 billion industry change their policies and estimatics and all that and be like,
just for you.
Oh, it's Danny. Damn, every time Danny calls, we clear the way, we roll out the red rug, and he gets O&P. It's not true.
Yeah.
So I learned that we're selling the impossible. When you sell the impossible, guess what happens to the sales guys?
Yeah.
False
dreams,
false expectations, and then guess what happens after that? They're gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
You lost them, and then they're gone.
And then it puts a whole taint on the industry in general. Like door to door is already hard as it is, getting people to come in, and it's like, dude, I never want to be a part of that industry.
Well,
again.
when I had my call center, one of the things that used to happen was, initially it was like you'd call up and people were like, oh, what's going on? There's a storm in the area. We're out there servicing it. Oh, okay. What do you mean? How does this work? Da da da. And we used to have that call. Fast forward 7 years later. So a lesson to be learned from the call center industry that relates to the roofing industry. 7 years later, everybody jumped in. Wild, Wild West, right? Yeah, they're jumping in. They're like, hey, roofer. So now I'm calling the educated guy, right? But I'm calling behind 7 guys that called them 42 times. Yeah. I go, hey, good morning, ma'am. I'm calling from blank roofing. Or you could go.
I don't know how
call talk to you.
Like my buddy over there that has 411 hail, right? Is it 911 hail or 411?
911.
Yeah. So my buddy, I don't even know how he does it, man. It's so hard. Like
it is.
There's like restrictions and apps on your phone. Anybody telemarketing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
you gotta learn from that. The lesson not to tell people on that. We're doing this as an industry by throwing up shit. Yeah. By doing it the wrong way. What we're doing, although right now there might be a short-term advantage. Right. Long term, you're killing that industry. You're going to destroy it for the people that are actually making it work properly. So stop for a second, figure out how you do it. Don't say, we go to appraisal on every job. No, you don't. We do this on every job. You know what you need to learn? Math. Learn your freaking margins. Learn how to sell. Learn your trade. Start working on that. Don't just sit there with these bad habits because you're going to ruin it for the good people.
Yeah, it's rough because I know who you're talking about, Hill 911. Great company, great, right? Our home got hit in September in Woodstock, and it got hit in September. Couple inch hail was actually pretty decent out there. I couldn't believe it. More snow cone hail, it's like this big, but then on the core, and there's the size of a pea. But anyhow, my girlfriend got blown up all day. I got blown up all day. We must have had 40 calls just in the first day in the first 5 hours. The storm hit at 6, 7 they were calling. All the way up to 9 o'clock. And I'm like, all right. So now you go on like Facebook and you see these group pages. I like to find my documentation through Facebook. So like if I'm arguing with like an opposing appraiser and adjuster, like, oh, hail wasn't here, I'll type in Mount Prospect, boom, 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 hail. And everybody, they got to take pictures of their food, the dog, and then
see the hail.
Yeah.
Right, and their windstorm and stuff.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
And they always pop out on the group pages like 5 years ago was like, oh, here comes the door knockers. Great. Now it's, motherfucker, stop calling me now. So, but I think Lateef would understand this more than I would, and I hear this a lot from the telemarketers, is that essentially Illinois is probably, I know every telemarketer on earth hates selling in Illinois. Oversaturated.
Well, people have been through it, and now other people thought it was so easy they came in. So this is the lesson in the roofing industry. Is like everyone thinks it's so easy to sell a roof, and they're coming in and they're tainting it for other people. So go under somebody that knows what they're doing. Go into a reputable company because those little ones will fade and go away. I promise. It's happening.
The marketplace will always differentiate who needs to be here and who needs to go.
Exactly.
And that's I'm gonna end it on that note. I want to appreciate my man. These are some OGs in the business. We're bringing value to you every single week. Go like and subscribe right now. And I want to urge you, follow my man Lateef, follow my man Steve. We're helping out the industry, bringing you value. Like and subscribe now. And like I always say, don't be average. Go be savage. Deuces. Love it. Awesome, brothers.